Holy shit. So, we got some patch notes here. Oh, we dropped out of top 1,000. Let's go. General, we fetched some crashing code into the crash compactor. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I clicked on something. Fix some issues, more FX. Units affected by stone gauge will now visually freeze and look stony. Change global items achievements to require 2, not 4 global items. Makes a lot of sense. Bot games now start paused when they're resumed. Personalities tweaked for the current state of the game. Huh. Interesting. Combat stats kill panel now treats kills like damage. Summons kills accrue to the summoner. Okay, sure. That makes sense. It doesn't actually affect anything that matters because no Brawnies have summons until Necro is added to the game. Not Necro the hero, but you know, the Necro book, Necronomicon. UI. Fix an issue with the wrong alliance icons. Just fix some issues. Can now click on heroes on the scoreboard, and all heroes of that type will be highlighted. Okay, that's kind of neat. In-game alliance pop-up, sure. General UI, highlight that. Fix that. It's just like, you know, fluffy stuff. Gameplay. Fix an issue with ability targeting and summons where those abilities which start units by EG health or not properly excluding summons. Okay, sure. It's like some abilities being cast on summons. Fixed unexploded Techie's bomb doing player damage on round over. Oh yeah, that's interesting. I actually didn't know about that. Makes sense though. That's kind of funny. Wait, has that been happening this entire time? That's actually pretty funny. Frosty's pointing out that technically the summons thing with summons getting kills, you can put like a poaching knife on a Venomancer and it's technically better. That's funny. That is actually true. Almost makes no difference to gameplay, but it is true. Alliance changes. Elusive level 3 alliance, 9 heroes. Changed from all units gain 75% evasion to all heroes gain 75% evasion. This is basically just for the Fury on trees, I think. Because when you're in 9 elusives, and when your last unit is like a Terrorblade, a Slark, or a Dragon Knight, your only non-hero units are just the the Furion logs that come out, right? I don't think there's anything else. However, this actually does matter. I mean, this is not a gigantic nerf, but it's noticeable. I mean, the logs being able to have that extra 75% evasion did actually matter. That was some part of the strength of this build in terms of like the buff that happened. I don't think it's a huge part, but it did matter. Demon Hunter. Level 2 alliance, 2 heroes changed from invalidate your opponent's demon alliance bonus. All demons gain 50% pure damage, and all demon hunters gain 50% pure damage. Okay, this is interesting. I'm curious how they'll nerf this. To invalidate your opponent's demon alliance bonus, all demon and demon hunters units gain 50% pure damage. So it's just Terrorblade no longer gets the double bonus. That's the only change. So Terrorblade has 50% less damage. I think that's fine. That seems fair. I don't think Terrorblade needed a bigger nerf than that. And it, interestingly enough, means that you might be more fine stacking demons now. It's still decent. Anti-Mage Terrorblade both together is still definitely decent. And Demon Hunters are still solid. But I don't think they're like OP anymore. To be honest, I think there's a lot of people that will look at this and be like, well, it's probably not big enough of a nerf. Honestly, I do think as Terrorblade is strong, but I don't think it's like the strongest, most overpowered thing ever compared to like what a lot of people were saying. So I do think it's, you know, somewhat reasonable, you know. I think it's still good, and I think it still empowers stuff like elusive, but I don't think it's like the strongest thing ever. It's fine. It's balanced. Hunter level 1, 3 heroes, extra attacks changed, raised to 25, and at 6 heroes it's up 5% as well. 5% more efficient at all ranks. That's sweet. That's definitely sweet. It really is. It's not bad. So basically hunters just have a 5% chance at all levels. I think that's noticeable. I think that's like the bump up they needed. I'm not sure if I feel like they're great, but they're definitely on the level now. And I should definitely like put them more into my range. Hero changes Doom. Doom's Doom ability now uniformly disables bonuses, including Alliance passive bonuses. So apparently there were just some inconsistencies about how that worked. When Lycan transforms and he gains 30% max health, he heals by the full 30% each time, rather than this being based on his current health at the time of transforming. Okay, so it's a buff to Lycan basically, right? It's not like before he was gaining 30% max HP and 30% current health at the same time, and now he gains 30% max HP and 30% current HP equal to his max HP. So it definitely actually does buff Lycan. That's a not insignificant buff to Lycan, honestly. So even better Lycan, sweet. If Juggernaut is eligible to cast Blade Fury, has enough mana, not on cooldown, he's about to take magic damage, he immediately casts Blade Fury and takes no magic damage. They think this buffs this hero? Has enough mana, not on cooldown. So if he's just sitting there like an idiot and not using this skill, then he'll use the skill sometimes. Like, what is this gonna do? I don't understand. If he's far away, he was casting for no reason, so they changed his not cast. Yeah, of course, but that's also bad. This still just makes no sense. Like, obviously, this does mechanically change the way things work. It just doesn't change anything. Helm of the Undying. Undying units, if they're in the Undying state, will never deal damage to the opponent, but will still count when determining which side won a round. Okay, sure. That makes sense. That's interesting. I figured they might have nerfed this in a slightly different way. I thought they would have made it like 3 seconds instead of 4. Honestly, people are kind of over exaggerating how powerful this item is. It's a pretty decent item. I recently updated. I went through with Frosty and kind of decided on like where I felt like all the items were in terms of the power level of each of them. I updated my tier list. You can see in chat, you can type ! tier list. And I put Helm of the Undying up pretty high on that. It's like probably the top of tier 2 except for Fall from Grace. It's good, but it's not like, there's a lot of people saying it was like better than any like tier 3 item, which I think is just wrong. That's a bit of an exaggeration for sure. It's a good item. It is like at the top of tier 2 items. It's very strong, but I don't think it needed more of a nerf than like maybe making it 3 seconds instead of 4. And I think this is fine. It's not really a nerf. It basically isn't really a nerf, yeah. It makes you feel a little bit less bad if you're playing against it, but it almost doesn't change your pick rate on this item. So yeah, I think that's basically it. So it's just a small smoothing out tweak. Hunters got quite buffed when you consider, well, not like really buffed, but when you consider this in addition to Lycan getting buffed in a notable way, Hunters feel a bit better, Juggernaut's, I guess, better. Helm of the Undying is almost not changed, and Demon Hunters lose a little bit of their oomph, as well as the 9 elusive comp. I'm not too big of a fan of the 9 elusive comp right now. It's definitely something you can play in certain situations, but it's not something that's like so incredibly forcible, I think. It's good, but it's just situational that you would want to do it, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's it. It's a small balance patch, not too much to talk about with this one, just a smoothing out of certain things. Demon Hunters being a bit strong, Hunters being a bit weak, balancing it all out. So I definitely have to give more respect to Hunters here. It's still half a chainmail plus Undying buff. It's more than half a chainmail because the way like armor scales, like 5 armor does more than half of 10. Like Frosty was saying, it's about 70%, which sounds right to me. No more evade on bear. Bear? There was never any bear. It was just logs, right? Wow, glass is fixed. No. These are just, I accidentally am wearing just like the wrong glasses. This is much better. Undying unit still does damage to units that won the board. Yeah. It's just like player damage that it lost. Okay. Well, I guess we can just get into some games. I did drop out of top 1000 last night. Dude, the MMR creep is real. If you like don't play for like 12 hours right now, you lose like 100 ranks. Just because like, right now the MMR system is just like a grind fest. It's like the player that plays the most ends at the top rank. There's a lot of top players that just aren't really playing right now because of it. I remember talking with, I was seeing like some players. I think I might be misremembering. I think Grunt and Hoy were saying that it's like you just don't want to play right now. I feel the same way. It's like playing ranked. I guess they'll probably change it next week. I was hoping for a change in this week's patch, but it feels like playing ranked right now is like there's not that much incentive to be playing. Like, I don't mind just like, you know, playing with the method, with like the logic of just like trying to improve myself as a player. But you can't really just like grind out. Most MMR systems are kind of that way. Yeah, that's true, but it feels pretty excessive with this one. I mean, it is flawed by design, right? Because like your MMR, it basically doesn't scale diminishingly, right? Like you can just keep climbing forever. So if you play like 14 hours a day, you'll just end up with like top 10 MMR. I'm not saying like you don't have to be skilled. Obviously you have to be skilled, but it's more rewarding of the good player that plays the most. There has to be a cap, see ELO or any other reasonable system. That's how I feel. We'll see though.